Next month, the trial of Vanessa Bryant versus LA County will begin. It's over photos taken at the scene of the fatal helicopter crash involving Bryant's husband, basketball great Kobe Bryant, their daughter Gianna, and 7 others who were also killed in that 2020 crash. Remember, Vanessa Bryant filed a lawsuit claiming photos were taken of the scene and then shared by some of the county's fire and sheriff's department employees in places that they should not have been. A criminal defense attorney, Sara Azari, is joining me now. Good morning, Sarah. Thanks so much for joining with us. What are we expecting in this case?
Well, look, Cheyenne, I've dealt with the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department for the last 2 decades in both civil and criminal cases, and I am disgusted by the conduct here, but I'm not the least bit surprised. What they did following this crash is that they assured Bryant and the other victims' families that the scene was secure, that they were securing the scene and the privacy was respected. But in fact, the deputies are turned into paparazzi. Photos were taken and then they were disseminated, and they had 0 governmental value or investigative value in this case. And so, there's the issue of constructive knowledge, the idea that deputies do this. They keep death books, and there was a problem around this just nationally, not just even locally. And yet there was no policy in the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department to ensure that deputies don't do this. And then there's the cover up of the sheriff himself, Villanueva, who then told his deputies, look, if you delete these photos, then, I won't discipline you. So there was this, evidence destruction that followed the reprehensible acts, to begin with. So this case is going to be about the negligence of these deputies and the Sheriff's Department and the Fire Department, both obviously under the umbrella of the County of Los Angeles, and the fact that the negligence invaded Vanessa Bryant's privacy, the privacy of her children, and violated her 14th Amendment right under the Constitution and caused emotional distress. And so there's a lot of motions, pretrial motions, that are going to be heard by Judge Walter to determine what evidence will come in ultimately before this jury. But the Sheriff's Department, Cheyenne, is a typical suspect in the Central District of California. We've seen them come before this court many times in the recent years, from public corruption at the top down to misconduct by officers. So it'll be interesting. And this judge is very pro-plaintiff. So it'll be curious to see how he rules on these motions and whether he allows a lot of evidence that is favorable to Bryant.
And also, Sarah, talk to us about a sheriff's deputy that was demoted. Vanessa Bryant wants him to testify. So her team is claiming the former captain was transferred because he was concerned about a cover-up in this. How critical would his testimony be in this case?
I think his testimony is very critical, Cheyenne, because he is an insider, and he was trying to do the right thing and got disciplined for it. And so, again, it goes back to not just the acts, it's the initial act of taking these photographs and then possessing them. One of the deputies took like 100 photographs on his cell phone. So it's not just that, it's what happened afterwards, the cover up, and when Villanueva, following the LA Times reporting, was confronted with this and had to finally admit to it, he said, I just didn't want everybody to lawyer up. Well, that's not really a valid reason, right? So his testimony is going to be critical because he is on the inside. He knew exactly what happened, and he was, he was disciplined because he was trying to do the right thing. The idea of witnesses and their testimony and the admission of their testimony is also part of one of these pretrial motions in limine to determine who is going to be able to testify or not. But I think he is absolutely a relevant witness. His testimony is relevant and it's critical, and it will be allowed in.
All right, Sara Azari, thank you so much for your legal expertise on that. And in another